I have a question about rehab. So
Sure.
when you're there, does it matter who you are? Like, is it a little nicer? Do you get like all-star treatment or
They were pretty good. They were pretty fucking cool to me. I got to be honest. A few of them knew who I was.
Mhm.
Everybody, all the other inmates there knew who I was.
Inmates.
So that was cool. But you still got to do all your shit. It was a top end place. I mean, pool right by the beach in West Palm. Really nice facility. And then, you had to go to some classes and group therapy, which was really amazing. I'm not an emotion guy. Like, I don't sit there and like seeing emotion play out. And there was literally grown men in their 40s weeping, just weeping in a group atmosphere. And I wanted to make an imprint like Bugs Bunny when he would go through a wall, like my body just leaving the room. I wanted out of there.
That's awkward.
Tough, yeah.
So did they, now
was there anybody there who you were like looking at like, fuck, that guy is a dude who needs to be here probably the rest of his life? Like, anyone who is like, I know with alcohol at least you start shaking and you can go into like hallucinating and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like,
It
there
was-
had to be a couple.
Dude, everyone else but me that was there fit that criteria. Everyone else. There was some poor old guy who was like 69, 70 years old. And the first day there, they put him in art therapy. They come up with these therapies that are like, what? It's, again, adults. These are adults sitting in a room with construction paper with some guy saying, okay, now draw this. And, draw. I'm like, what the fuck? So he had the shakes so bad. Me and this girl that were there were looking, we're like, what's he drawing? I think it's a hacksaw blade. No, I think it's an EKG. Every single, he couldn't draw a straight line. I felt bad for the guy.
Oh, that's sad.
But yeah. It was, mostly I felt bad for the people that were there for the first few days. And then I was just like, all right, whatever. I'm here for 28 days. Let me just deal with it.
What was the
Did it make you
point
feel
of
bad?
what was the point of the 5-day pre-therapy? Like, I don't think I understand how this works.
Oh my God. This is something called detox. To detoxify, they don't want to send people that are still all totally fucked up right into the rehab facility. So you take 5 days and they put you in a detox facility.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody there is coming off of something. So here's what I did. Here's I've never been in anything like this situation thing. It was like a Wednesday. I went out to dinner with a girl, and we had we split a bottle of wine. Then I had nothing to drink. My flight was on Friday. So Thursday, I decided I was going to stay at home and watch Clean and Sober and 28 Days with Sandra Bullock. I was going to watch rehab movies just to get a little, glimpse.
Yeah, so Sandra Bullock would teach you what to expect. Uh-huh.
So then they send me, I go, again, Friday comes along. I haven't had a drink since Wednesday. So I go and get to the rehab, and they give you a breathalyzer, and it's 0-0. So they're like, oh, well, you got to take some Xanax so you don't have a seizure from stopping drinking. And I'm like, I really don't drink that much. I haven't had I think I'm okay here. They go, no, it's the rules. You have to have it. I'm like, all right. So I took it. 20 minutes later, I'm on the couch like, I'm all kinds of fucked up. So I go in stone cold sober. Within 20 minutes of getting to rehab, I'm annihilated, fucked up on Xanax. It was amazing to me. And every time that door opened up for med time, though, I was right there.
Now you've got a serious Xanax problem.
Were you going up there lying like, I'm feeling a little seizure-y?
Yeah.
Like,
Wait a minute.
So how do you pass the time for 28 days? I mean, do they give you like Call of Duty therapy and you just get to play all the time, or like what's up?
Yeah, no, it sucked. I only had my phone like for 2 hours on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They give you your phone. And I started just not even missing it. Like, whatever. I'd get my phone, check some shit, and it wasn't like I sat on Twitter for 8 hours. So it kind of worked out well. There was a pool there, which was great. Some really cool, fun people. I guess
they're fun.
Yeah, once
They
they're
throw the
sober,
best parties.
such assholes as the stories they told in group. I mean, they would tell stories like I never knew what a handle was, and they go, "Yeah, I was going through a handle a day," and I'm like, "What is that?" It's those bottles with the handle on it, like a jug, a gallon of Captain Morgan or a gallon of vodka, and I'm like, "Yeah, I had those at parties at my house when a fuckload of people are coming over," but they were drinking like the whole thing alone, and some of these people are telling these stories. I'm just like, I don't have one of these. I don't have one of these.
It would have been so funny to tell like your really lame story. You're like, well, one night, and I hate to even say this, like, I must have drank 8, 9 beers, and I'm gonna tell you, when I woke up the next day, the headache.
Yeah.
I had a headache.
I couldn't even eat until noon.
Right.
Yeah, I went to work. I felt
You won't
like
believe
shit,
this. I was playing pool, missed easy shots.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
hard.
missed these shots. Problem. That's when I knew I had a problem.
Did you immediately feel like, the best person in class when you walked in and you see everybody shaking with their drawing and their pencils, and you're like, "Oh, look at this guy. Oh, you need me to hold your saucer of tea for you,
Yeah,
Mr. Steadyhand over here." Like,
they elected me community president, so I had to be there for like the meetings. I handed out the work details and stuff. And
no, they didn't. Did they really?
I can't tell if this is true or not.
Dude, I swear. It was. I was like the president.
You're just the
And
most
I had to
steady
give out
there.
like the reading assignments, like because people would read aloud from the big AA book during some of the morning meetings. So I did that. I had to hand that out. So I was El Presidente. I guess it was because I really wasn't all that fucked up when I went in there.
Yeah, so you immediately that's a handle a day. Like, if someone told you, "I'll give you $10,000 a day for every day that you can drink a whole handle by yourself," how many days do you think you could even do?
You would. First of all, I would probably die before that.
So,
And you're passing out. You're not. I don't know how he did it. And then he said he broke one on the bathroom floor and got on the floor and started sucking it up.
As you do. Yeah.
I don't know. I've grabbed the wrong beer off the table.
and I swallowed it anyway.
Yeah.
When
I
I
read the whole thing and I realized I was drinking a Coors.
when I was a child
Yeah.
and not strong enough to pour a whole gallon of milk, that's how I cleaned the counter. That was I had a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. Man. Yeah, and then I got out, and then I came back to work, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, you're so tan." And
But
Yeah,
how about
like,
the
yeah.
other stuff? Like, I have this notion, like, even if you didn't have a heavy alcohol addiction, did it cure your other addictions, like Reddit or Twitter or, like, I don't know, something else? Like, talk to
crazy
me.
broads.
Like, dude, if that happened to me, we could maybe kick my Reddit habit, right? Even
Yeah,
though
you know what? I did take in what was available and what might have helped with some things. There's addictive personality, I know I have that. And the fact that I was on Twitter 8 hours arguing with nobody about nothing, like
with
I
some
really
egg.
had to get a handle on
Screaming
what
at the
that was
wall.
all about.
Were there any attractive women in rehab?
A couple, yeah, there was, but having sex in rehab is right below drinking. It's right below drinking they will just throw you the fuck out of there.
Kyle,
Really?
those women tended to be over 21. We weren't interested.
Yeah, they were I call them old broads. No, there were a couple of goers there, a couple of girls that were pretty fucking kind of cute and wanted to do stuff.
Yeah, I bet for a fifth they'd have done anything.
Yeah, you just bring in a little Coke with you and
But having
little
sex
booze.
is like a big offense. I don't really get
It's
why.
huge. Like, they really made sure nothing was going on. One girl, she decided she was gonna I was in the pool like this, and she swam up, like, upside down backwards, up like that, and just started going like this to me.
The old scissor stroke.
And
We
I
did it in
pushed her off.
college.
I'm like, we're in fucking rehab. What are you doing? And she's like, "Whoa, no one ever pushed me off of them before. What the fuck?" I'm like, "It's rehab." I go, "Believe me, any other place would be great, but no, we can't do that." And then like they found out about that and talked to me. They were like, "We heard there was an incident in the pool." And so I was like, "Look, we talk. Everything's cool. No fucking report is necessary."
Don't you hate it when they refer to something you did as an incident?
An incident, yes.
Yeah, you're like, shit, it wasn't really an incident. Let me explain how this all went down. Incident always has this negative connotation where, like, you were up to no good, making dirty plans, like you had a scheme. Incident.
Well, there were some girls that would hang out on the couch in the room where there was the TV and everything, the community room, and there were blankets in there. So a guy and a girl would put a blanket over them and just diddle each other and fucking, play with each other and shit. So that became something you couldn't sit close to another person.
In Florida, you say?
Yeah.
Typically, I think of that as the airplane move.
Yep. Yeah. There were a lot of, there's another girl that was there that wound up fucking one of the guys that were there with a girl keeping lookout. It was, people do what they want if they want to.
I can't imagine being in that situation. I really like my freedom. I really like the ability to be like, you know what? Fuck all this. I'm going out and just get in my car and go.
That's what I do, and it freaked me out, especially at first. I'm like, I really don't like. And not to mention, I had a fucking roommate, so I wasn't even in the room alone. I've never had like a roommate in the same fucking room, and I had to do some little chores, not the toilet cleaning stuff, but make sure your bed's made and things like that. I'm like, I haven't made my bed in decades. And it's like, oh, I forgot.
Was there security? Like, technically, if you wanted to just walk out the front door, would you get there, or are there like magnetic locks?
You could leave, but you'd be AMA, against medical advice, they call it, and and it's just counterproductive, especially to what I was doing.
But so it's not like a prison where you would have a hard time leaving.
Sometimes it is, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes it is. This one, like they had some rules, like no food in the rooms whatsoever. You got to keep it in the kitchen and write your name on it and hope no one stole your shit. But people stole people's shit all the time. So I had things that I just wanted to kind of at night, get up, go into my drawer and grab like fucking beef jerky or some shit like that. So I kept a lot of stuff in my drawers, and the guy would say, "Oh, we're going to be looking at rooms today. Make sure you don't have any food in there, and make sure everything's clean." So I was like, "Oh fuck!" So I took the food out of my drawers. I put it in my laundry basket and covered it with laundry, and then took some like underwear and put it on top to see if like hopefully he wouldn't go through it, and he didn't. So, that was the trick that worked. So, I thought he was going to take a stick and start like. He
comes in up against the wall.
Yeah.
Don't look at me if I didn't
They're
tell
tossing the cells. They're tossing the cells. Guys mopping. I'm making fucking booze in the toilet.
Little kites, tossing them through the other doors.
What says you, fuzzy britches? He throws a fucking chess piece. It goes through the wall.
Was it
great
all
movie?
Drugs?
Yeah.
Like not just alcohol, other drugs, or were there like also fat people there who like were having trouble with eating, or like? I just wonder what kind of addictions were they all?
Yeah, I think the peripheral stuff, like being fat or having OCD, that kind of was in there, but not as that. It was like a fat person with a drug problem.
So you're saying concurrent clapping and tapping from the adjacent building, the OCD ward.
Yeah. We would.
You look over there at night, the lights are just on, off, on, off, on.
You see the locks, like just.
Damn it! Lights out, I said.
I know, but I need to do it 5 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just need to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like it's just.
Yeah, it's just fucking going crazy, trying to make sure the door's lined up right, the door's opening. Just some lunatic. The big day was when we went to. We got to go to Walmart on Saturday. That was your big party right there. They would load us into these white vans that they affectionately called the druggy buggies.
I like it.
Yeah. I had to get into something called the druggy buggy, which I felt just great about. And then we'd go to Walmart, and they'd kind of keep an eye on you as to what you were buying. But even if they weren't, at the end, when you got everything, you had to hand your receipt over to the guy to make sure you weren't buying anything you weren't supposed to be buying. And some people would like ring up one thing, like a bottle of NyQuil, and stash it and get the receipt for that, and then ring up all the rest of their stuff.
Wow.
And then have NyQuil to drink.
Yeah.
Man, you got to be desperate to be sneaking NyQuil.
Will.
Yeah.
Are you just really congested?
Oh, I know. That's
Not after this.
That's how they kind of, because as I was talking with other people, they started saying like, "Are you really here for drinking or anything? Like, you don't really seem." I was like, "Yeah, well," and then we were talking about NyQuil, and I said, "Oh yeah, I love that stuff. It just fucks me up. I fall right to sleep." And they go, "Oh, see, so you're not fucking Mr. Squeaky Clean." I was like, "No, when I'm sick, I would take fucking NyQuil. I have some at home now. I'm not compelled to fucking chug it down." I had a handle of it.
Like, you have NyQuil?
Yeah.
You holding out on us?
Yeah.
They were talking about hiding like bottles. Their wives were there, mothers that have kids and husbands that they just like booze was more important than their family. And they were gonna, they'd be crying after a week going, "I want to see my kids and my husband." You're like, what the fuck are you even doing here? I understand it's an addiction, and that's the whole thing. It's very bad and pulls you right in, but my God, man, it's not like you're just a shock jock from the radio that ran into
the alcohol thing is serious stuff. Like, that's a disease, and it's one of those diseases that actually has some effect. You get cirrhosis of the liver. There's all kinds of things that it'll kill you literally, or it can ruin your brain. It can just make you a hollowed out version of your former self after long-term use. But I kind of want to go there to make fun of the people who are there for like laughable things, like the OCD or the fat people, because I'm into that. Yeah, I would love to just be over there, like go to fat people rehab to lose like 8 pounds or something. Like, yeah, it's swimsuit season's coming up. I gotta trim down.
Just like, I'm really putting it on. I don't feel good about myself. I caught a look in the mirror the other day. Oh, I was horrified.
Look at this. I'm 190 right now. 190. I'm only 6'1". This is bullshit.
This is the heaviest I've ever been. I'm embarrassed.
Meanwhile, there's an elephant over there who's 1,000 pounds. Just melted.